Have you ever felt the rush from succeeding at something? The invincibility that you cannot be stopped? I once heard song producer Sean P. Diddy Combs say, I'm a savage! I'm a savage! Woo! I'm a savage! Whatever I can do, whatever I can think of, I can do it. I must have it. Yes, I can have it. Mr. Contest Master, frightened Toastmasters and guests, I can't stop. I won't stop. I'm addicted to succeeding. I didn't always have this mentality. I dealt with mediocrity for a very long time. My journey started back when I was a hormonal 17-year-old in high school. I decided that year that I would try out for football for the first time. Now, I was very confident because I was a really good athlete. I could run fast, I was very strong, and I could catch the ball. Oh, I can see it now. Soaring popularity. The girls calling my name, David, David. Sitting at the cool people's table at lunch. Oh yeah, I was a shoo-in for it. The coaches had noticed me during spring practice and had pegged me as a potential starter. Oh, this was awesome. I got my chance at our spring scrimmage game to showcase my abilities. They drew up 3 plays for me to see what I was able to do. In the very first play, I lined up and I ran off. For 3 steps, I turned around like I was going to catch the ball, and I took off again. It was a fake play to fake out the guy who was defending me, and he bit on the play hard. The quarterback pump fake, and he threw the ball long. That was the longest 2 seconds in my life. I watched as the ball descend into my hands and onto the ground. Oh my gosh. I failed. I was devastated. I couldn't bring the play back. I was so fixated on the fact that I dropped the ball that for the second and the third play, I ended up with the same result. I dropped the ball. Needless to say, the coaches were less than impressed and put me in a position of bench warmer for the rest of the season. Despite my efforts, we still made it to the playoffs. We were 2 games away from the state title. This was awesome. We were almost there. In this semifinal game, we found ourselves 7 points behind. Just 1 touchdown from tying the game and potentially going into overtime. We were within scoring range and we had the ball in the last few seconds. We needed a Hail Mary play in which the ball was thrown high and into the end zone for someone to catch it. The coach called a timeout and he drew up a play. He then scanned his 5 wide receivers that he had available. One which had a broken hand and a cast on. And he scanned us, looking us in the eye, trying to figure out who will I entrust with this make or break play. We lost that game.
No.
And after the game, we all huddled together in the center of the field. We took a knee as he gave us our season well done speech. And I remember I took my place towards the back of the pack because I was overcome with emotion. And I had my head down. There was a local photographer that was there to take pictures of us while the coach gave his speech. He made it his mission to find the ugliest crier on the football team. I felt the camera snap as I had my head down and found out the next day that I had won as the worst crier on the team, as my face was plastered on the front page of our newspaper with the story of our defeat. What people did not know was that I did not cry because we had lost. I cried because my coach picked the guy with the cast on his hand to determine the final play. I felt less than adequate. I felt like I was nothing. And I said I would never be put in this position ever again. So I took the seat of mediocrity. In my mind, I said I would never feel that pain again. Because if I reached for the stars, that meant I was too high and I could fall flat on my face again. And I refused to feel that way. And so I would go on to find accomplishments that I could reach within my grasp from my seated position of mediocrity. And I felt like I was moving because I was reaching for things that kept me in my comfort zone. But I never reached my full potential. It wasn't until a conversation that I had with some very close friends in which we talked about our legacy. What will we be remembered for when we were gone? And we went around the room, and it finally got to me. And they said, you would be the fun guy, the guy who would be the party starter. They all smiled, nodding in accordance. Inside, I was hurting because I knew I was meant for more than that. And at that moment, I realized something had to change. The first thing I did was forgive myself for that play. It haunted me for years. So I looked in the mirror and said, it's okay. You failed, you must learn to move on. The second thing that I learned to do was celebrate my successes. Even the smallest thing, because I knew I was inching forward and showing progress. And the third thing I did was accept failure. I embraced it because I knew that failure was just a detour or a reroute on the road to success. Now, I look at my road to success and I say, yes, give me more. What can't you do? I can do it because I can do anything. Why? Because I can't stop and I won't stop. Mr. Contest Master.